Hey, welcome. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good Christmas, a good New Year, and a very good Valentine's Day. This isn't gonna be a heavily edited, specific topic-based video. It's just gonna be a chill few minutes where me and you can discuss the Isle, because there's a few topics I'd like to discuss with you. Because I think this year could be the best year in the Isle's history. But first of all, if someone, not me of course, said these images of baryonyx physically stimulated them in ways I'd rather not say, would you hold that against them for the foreseeable future? What about these images containing Spinosaurus? What if someone hypothetically said these images made them feel certain urges? Not me of course, but hypothetically. In all seriousness, these renders are beautiful. I'm not sure why, but since this Spino model has been shown, I've seen so many people hate on it. So many. Where are those people? We need them to step forward and take accountability for their crimes, because who could hate this? As we know, this year, Rex, Trike, Kentro, Allo, and maybe Bary are planned, alongside mechanics like burrowing and elders. I doubt, but if all of these things do make it into Avrima this year, the Isle is going to go triple platinum, and it'd easily be the best year for the Isle, development-wise, player-wise, and financial-wise. Yes, server queues are pretty monstrous right now, and they'll probably get worse short-term, but let's not worry about that for now, because I've been sensing an underlying inkling of negativity in certain Isle spaces, and we don't need that right now. Plus, the devs are making more servers, so that should help. Mostly. As we can see, the Isle's player count has reached a new all-time high, but some people will still have you believe that the Isle is dying. Notice how those exact same people are the ones who slander the devs relentlessly and demand updates every single week. But nevertheless, the increase in player count generally is very good for the game, and it does make me really happy to see we've broken the previous record. So if you've played within the last 30 days, you're an unearthly gem. Now, I'm gonna make a cheeky little prediction. You can hold this against me if I'm wrong, of course, but hear my words. I believe when Rex and Trike officially release, we are gonna see the player count hit 20k. And by the end of the year, if everything prior discussed is in the game, then it's gonna creep close to 30k. I know it's crazy, but what's life without a little bit of madness? As of making this video, a cheeky horde test has dropped. This was mostly to show off the new grass and a cannibalistic mutation that, correct me if I'm wrong, turns you albino, which is very cool, but the main attraction is Triceratops being on the skin selector screen. I've seen a few people say Trike looks a bit weird because its head is held so high. I see it, I hear it, but I don't think it's a problem. I think it makes Trike look more assertive and dominant, and that's what you want from your T-Rex killer. I will say, Trike's colour options aren't the best so far. Seems like everyone is going to be some shade of brown, grey or white, which is kinda lame, but I shan't dwell on what could be. So let's focus on what will be. Here is the devs' plan to integrate Rex and Trike in the current horde test. They intend to add Trike first, see how it fares, then remove it, add Rex, see how he fares, and then add them both and let them collide. And when that happens, we will be there. We will be there. The question is, will you be joining me? Because I plan to do a 24-hour Triceratops stream. Anyone's free to join, anyone's free to watch, anyone's free to play. It should be fun, but I'll talk more on that later. Back to the present, and here is the size comparison between stego and trike. This is the difference between a big herbivore and an apex herbivore. How cool. One critter we should talk about is the Allosaurus, because it's looking like it's gonna be a demon in Avrima. Apparently it's going to have an ambush type speed boost, a pin slash latch slash grab attack, an ult attack while swimming. It's gonna be a menace. And do note, this clip of it pouncing a stego is a placeholder. I believe it's meant to be on the ground as it latches onto the stego. Man, stegos are gonna really suffer the next few months. Rexes, allos, aggro trikes, even diablos can take them down. I may just play it to experience Evrima on extreme difficulty mode. Now let me ask you a question, because I've heard mixed responses. How heavy would you make the Allosaurus? Because most people I've spoken to or have seen spoke about this have said between 2.8 to 3.2 tons, but to me, it doesn't look like an animal that should be within the 2 ton range. I'd personally round it off at 3 tons. It puts it in a good place, on par with Diablo, and not too far away from Maya. Let me know what you think in the comments. Here's some food for thought. If allo is 3 tons, and Rex is 9 tons, if 3 allos latch or pin, or latch onto a T-Rex, what happens? Does the Rex get pinned? Because that would be pretty crazy. I'm a bit late to the punch with this, but I thought I'd share some brief opinions on this video. No doubt most of you have seen it. Generally, the video covers some good points, and also makes some good points. I disagree with how good he's made Spiro sound. As a map, it wasn't great, neither is Gateway truthfully, but he kinda made it seem that Spiro was God's gift to the world, when it obviously wasn't. I do agree with him when he mentioned that the game is very unfriendly to new users. To a new player who was coming in blind, they would have no idea about migrations, mutations, patrol zones, diet plants, nesting, courting, and even sniffing. In fact, a while ago I came into contact with a player who didn't know that night vision existed, and he was just stumbling around in the pitch black half the time. It was pretty funny. But this game does really need a tutorial for new players, but I think the devs will only add this sort of stuff once the gameplay loop is complete, and for those who aren't aware, that's what the allo system will hopefully do. Another thing I do disagree with about the video that Zenny made is the influx of people storming Islecord, shouting at the devs and the community, saying this is the worst early access game, and it's been in development for 10 years, you know, the usual stuff. Now Zenny didn't tell these people to do this, but when you use inflammatory language in the title, you know, you clickbait, and then form conspiracy theories on whether Dondi orchestrated his own game's downfall when it comes to the Deathly Rage stuff, what do you think is gonna happen? And people love to hate this game, so whenever someone drags up controversies from the past, people love to get involved. The game and the dev team do need to be and can be criticised. That's crucial for the game's development, but I do believe there's a time and place for it. And I don't believe this is the time, in my humble opinion. If people are going to make heavily critical reviews or videos on the Isle, they should split the conversation, first about the game's conception, to legacy, and then to Evrima, if they want to be fair, because lumping them in as one catastrophizes the conversation. For example, if I said Evrima is just over 4 years old, that doesn't sound anywhere near as bad as if I said the Isle has taken 10 years to get to this point, implying Evrima has been in development for 10 years. Now I'm not saying Zenny has said that, but it's certainly what certain people will take from it and run with. And that isn't fair, and this only hurts the game and the community. But I digress. Talking of the community though, the Isle Reddit has sprouted a few gems recently. People saying the devs are taking money from hackers to not ban them. This guy saying he's quitting the game and then getting flamed in the replies. People still talking about the camera changes. My rage can't be controlled. And the best Reddit submission of recent time is a message to Dondi. Now guys, strap in if you aren't aware, and let me break this down for you. So, Trin328, surprisingly, after the Zenny video, went onto the Isle Reddit and offered Dondi and the rest of the development team $250,000 to speed up development. But he will only donate that much if 1. All hackers and cheaters are simultaneously banned, 2. A tutorial is added, 3. AI has to be added, and 4. New dinosaurs have to be released. He then goes on to say that Dondi will go to great lengths to sabotage him from buying the game. For any potential business students out there, this is not how you get someone to sell you something. Then he says what he will do for the beneficiary of the game, and in extension, us. 1. Grow the development team, where he says he'd add 45 to 60 developers, maybe even more. 2. He'd work on the anti-cheat. 3. He'd make community testing servers, where we could test bugs, new features, and give honest feedback. This is literally what horde testing is. 4 tutorials. 5. He'd remove herbivore dyers so you could eat any plants and receive all the buffs necessary. He'd then increase the abundance of them, and if you don't eat the plants, you'll receive no debuffs. On top of that, he'd said he'd make AI for carnivores much more plentiful. Sounds like a free win server. And 6. Dinos. He'd plan to add more dinosaurs in a faster time frame. I mean, we've heard it all before. As you can imagine, the comments on this post were insanely funny. He said he's going to come back in 1 year, so that'd be the 2nd of February 2026, and if there hasn't been substantial improvements, then he's going to buy the game. It's so obvious he just watched Zenny's video and is trying to act like our saviour, and didn't the isle make $22 million last year? He'd need at least $50 million to play with, because assets aren't valued on how much they make, they are valued on how much potential growth they have, and theyre is still in its infant stage. And Dondi would never sell this game, especially not to a guy who called him out on Reddit. I love the Isle Reddit, man, I really do. But I'd like to mention again that when Trike releases, I think officially, I'll be doing a 24-hour livestream, a Trike livestream. It's going to be long, it's going to be ropey, it's going to be testing, but more importantly, it's going to be fun. So feel free to join, feel free to play along, it'll be a good time. It's my first time streaming, so hopefully I'll see you guys in the future. Have a great day, a great night, a great evening, a great afternoon, and a great morning. I'll see you there.